Hello and welcome to Last Stand for Liberty. My name is Aaron Gobra. Today I want to talk to you about the war on drugs. The war on drugs has been an abject failure. The war on drugs was started by President Richard Nixon, and the idea that you can control morality or what people want to do with their own bodies, and that the government has some right to do this is just beyond me. It's a concept that I can't even wrap my head around. As long as people are doing things that don't harm others and are creating no violence against any other person, I don't care what you do to your own personal body, as long as it doesn't have impact or is not a violent intrusion on anyone else's life. We've went down this road where we've spent hundreds of billions of dollars, and look what it got us to. Okay, in the 80s, during the crack years, if you will, you had these military-style invasions of homes where the police would come in with these tanks and these big, huge battering rams and knock people's doors down, houses down, and sometimes they would get the wrong house, and they march into your house with a SWAT team and stick a machine gun in your face and throw your kids on the floor and your wife on the floor, and this isn't the role of government. This isn't what I need the government to do. I don't need the government to protect me from myself. What people choose to do to their own bodies is their own decision to make. That is an essential form of liberty right there. As long as you are not creating violence against any other human being, then there shouldn't be any law against it. There should be no such thing. And there is really morally, there's no such thing as a victimless crime. So, aside from the military-style invasions, you've got the fact that this is used disproportionately against minorities, right? More minorities are incarcerated for drug crimes than there are the majority of people, right? So you have this unjustly being used against minorities, and if you think about it, more minorities are being incarcerated, but yet there are less of them just by the nature of being a minority itself, right? So there are less of them, and yet more of them are being incarcerated than the majority for drug crimes. So it's clear that this is being used in a disproportionate fashion, right? Because if there are far more white people, that exist in this country, I'll guarantee you there are far more white people using drugs in this country. Okay, that's just by numbers alone. That's no other kind of judgment, just based upon the numbers alone. So this war on drugs is being used disproportionately against minorities, and that is absolutely immoral and needs to stop. The other thing you got is we have 5% of the world's population, yet we are incarcerating 25% of the world's incarcerated population. And that tells you right there, that's a disproportionate number. That tells you that things in this country are drastically out of whack when it comes to this war on drugs. The other thing is we currently borrow 40% of what we spend, right? So for every dollar we spend, we borrow 40 cents of it. The drug war has cost us hundreds of billions of dollars. We simply cannot afford it. And then you have the other thing, the other nature of government, if you will. Aside from the prison industrial complex that gives them a motive to put people in jail for profit, and there are a lot of institutions that that are doing this. Aside from all that, you've got the other problem that the government has participated in this. So the very thing that they've said is illegal, the government has participated in. The government was importing tons of cocaine for a gentleman by the name of Freeway Ricky Ross in South Central Los Angeles through a CIA guy out of Guatemala. So the government, here they are importing these drugs into Los Angeles, and then there's the local government is stomping in there with military-sized vehicles and knocking people's doors down. Ronald Reagan was, essentially having these drugs sold to fund his illegal wars in South America and South and Central America. So the government passes a law against us, yet the government breaks the law themselves, right? The government sells drugs. And they have done this, and if you don't believe that, you can look it up, but it's a well-known fact that this actually happened. You know, the other thing is, I live in Southern California. You look at the impact that this has had on Mexico, and it's incredible. I used to surf there. I used to fish there. You know, I love Mexico. I love the people, and I just hate to see what's happened to their country due to our war on drugs and it following south of the border and impacting them as well. You know, the other thing that I tell people all the time is we need to legalize this. We need to tax it. That's the bottom line. In California, the biggest cash crop is marijuana, and if they legalized it and taxed it, it would bring a lot of funds into the state. Even though I'm against taxes and all that, I recognize that a statist system exists, and I'm just a person operating within that statist system. So that is what it is. The other thing I tell people is, you know, look, if heroin was legal tomorrow, how many people would run down and buy it? Would you run down and buy it? Well, I wouldn't. Okay, I have no urge to do it. That's not what my life is about. I have a different plan for my life. So you can't legislate morality. The war on drugs, we're spending too much on it. We don't have the money to spend. We're borrowing the money to spend on it. We're incarcerating people unjustly. It's being used unjustly against minorities disproportionately. You know, these are a lot of problems that I have with the war on drugs. So let's wake up, America. Let's bring an end to this war on drugs, and let's elect politicians that recognize that this is a boondoggle and a waste of time and money. So that's it. Hey, do me a favor. Tell people to like the Facebook page. Go to laststandforliberty.com. Check out some of our videos. Check out our YouTube channel. Subscribe to that. Check us out on Twitter. And get involved, people. Let your neighbors know and let your family know. And, you know, vote for a responsible presidential candidate. Power to the people.